All right, breaking news right now. Benton County Sheriff Sean Holloway taking the podium at the sheriff's office right now to talk about the missing Benton County woman, Ashley Bush.
Report something. Over my career, this is one of the most horrific cases that I have been personally involved with. This is still an active case. I'll put that out first. That we will be limited to what details that we can give, because this is a fluid working case at this moment. The Sheriff's Office on October 31st started working a case of a missing person, Ashley Bush. Some sad news to report that we have found Ashley Bush, who was murdered, in our opinion. We also have found her baby, Valkyrie Grace Willis, who's deceased as well, was found in a separate location. Won't be able to get into details of that. We do have 2 people in custody. This has been a joint case that we've been working with the FBI, Benton County Sheriff's Office, and McDonald County, Missouri Sheriff's Office. The 2 people they have in custody right now are Amber Waterman and Jamie Waterman of Jane, Missouri, who are currently being held on kidnapping first-degree charges. We expect further additional charges to come, and I'll let Nathan Smith speak on where we're going with all that.
Well, obviously, our hearts and prayers go out to Ashley's family, and it's a terrible thing. We have been in touch with multiple jurisdictions. It's clear in this case that there are multiple venues, if you will, that would have jurisdiction for the prosecution of this case. I've spoken to our U.S. Attorney and going to have conversations going forward with our federal partners to determine which venue is proper to proceed. The investigation still is ongoing. There are some things that we don't know now, and then there are some things that we can't say at the moment since it's ongoing. But at this point, both of these individuals are in custody. I believe their federal charges relate to kidnapping that led to murder. And so there will be certainly overlapping charges as this case goes forward. And so that's kind of where that is. So at this point, if you guys have questions, we'll be happy to answer them.
What's the relationship of Amber and Jamie Waterman?
So at this point, what we believe is that, are they husband and wife?
Yes.
Yeah, they're husband and wife.
And do we believe that Amy was the woman that was called Lucy?
Yes, we believe that Lucy was a fictitious name, an invented persona, and that Amber was the real person.
What was the name of the baby again?
The baby's name was Valkyrie Grace Willis.
Valkyrie Grace Willis?
Yes, sir.
And can you go into more detail about where they were found? How far from that handy stop in Maysville?
Well, at this point, the bodies were recovered in the state of Missouri, and so I won't go any further than that, but they were recovered in Missouri.
We have heard rumors that the Watermans were trying to adopt. They were struggling to have a child. Is that something that you guys can confirm?
I don't know that.
I do not know that at this point.
I guess talk about, and I know you guys posted like they met online, kind of talk about the nature of how these 2 met in the relationship, Ashley and the Watermans.
Well, I think that's going to be an ongoing issue. I've certainly, heard things reported on that. Facts are still developing at this point. Interviews are still being done. So I can't say more beyond that. Then they did meet online. I believe that's already been reported, that they did meet that way. And so that's all I know at this point.
What time and date were the bodies found?
I don't have exact times. They were. I can't give you that information right now to be exact on it. I believe 2 separate days they were found, one yesterday and one today, and I can't really get into details on that at this point.
Can you say was Ashley found today and the baby found yesterday? Can you tell us which were found what days?
Baby was found yesterday, and Miss Bush was found today.
How close were they to each other in proximity?
I don't think we want to get into that. I think that's going to be an investigative detail that's going to become important later.
Can you say whether they cut the baby out or?
We don't want to get into that at this point for investigative reasons. It's still ongoing, and so facts have to be developed. But clearly the baby was not found with the mother.
Do you know what was used to kill both Ashley and the baby?
At this point, what I can say for the mother is we believe at this point investigation leads us to believe that it was a gunshot wound.
Yes.
And so I think beyond that, that's all we can say now.
There's autopsies that will be conducted, and there'll be official reports on that at some point. But like the prosecutor said, we believe the manner of death certainly is probably going to be gun-related.
Nathan, do you think that each of the two suspects should be charged with 2 counts of murder?
Yeah, well, in Arkansas, if you kill a pregnant woman, then you can be charged with 2 counts of murder. So certainly in the state of Arkansas, I would charge them with 2 counts of homicide. Now, that's all going to have to be worked out jurisdictionally. And it could be, the fact could be that multiple different jurisdictions can bring charges in this case. So if the facts develop as in a way that justifies bringing charges here in Benton County, we would charge in that fact pattern for 2 murders, because you can in the state of Arkansas do that.
Was there any evidence, can y'all say, that there was an effort to keep the baby alive?
I don't know that. I don't know those details.
So why is Jamie being charged? I know Amber is the one that
Sure.
the fiance has talked about. Why is Jamie being charged?
Well, at this point, law enforcement have reason to believe that both of them were involved in this crime. And obviously, as the facts play out and the investigation continues, we'll know the extent of that involvement for both of them. But evidence is at this point that there was reason to hold both of them for charges.
When will they be in court?
I'm not sure in federal court in Missouri when they will appear, but I'm sure that will be relatively soon. They'll have to make a bond decision soon.
So they're in Montgomery County Jail?
Yes.
Do you know if they died in Arkansas or in Missouri?
We're still determining that. I think the investigation will lead us there. That's obviously going to be a very important detail in how the case gets charged. At this point, we know that the bodies were found in the state of Missouri. The investigation will help us know exactly where the deaths occurred.
And when do you, the jurisdictional issues, when do you expect that to be worked out?
Well, I know that in conversations I've had today, I expect to have phone calls and visit with federal prosecutors in both Arkansas and Missouri in the next several days. And so that may not be a decision we make in
All right, we are having some trouble getting the rest of that news conference, but suffice it to say that it is breaking news. They have made 2 arrests in this case, a case that we have been talking about since Monday on the disappearance of Ashley Bush. We can tell you that Amber and Jamie Waterman, this is a picture of Amber Waterman that we have now, no mugshot yet of Jamie Waterman. These are the 2 that were arrested today, or at least the announcement was today, that these 2 have been arrested on federal charges of kidnapping, which could lead to murder on a federal level. In the case of missing Ashley Bush
of Ashley
missing,
Bush, yes. And the sheriff says he believes that they were murdered. Both Ashley and her unborn child were found at separate locations in Missouri. Nathan Smith, the Benton County prosecutor, says depending on the jurisdiction here and where both of those they were killed, that would end up impacting the charges. And here in Arkansas, they could potentially be charged with 2 counts of murder if it did get to that point.
Yeah, and we're not sure what the Missouri law says about if a pregnant woman is murdered with an unborn child. We're going to check on that. The prosecutor says they will also look into that part as well. And now, they're also looking into the relationship between Bush and the Watermans. That part was not revealed today. That's still part of the investigation, how these 2 knew each other than meeting online earlier this year, or earlier this month.
The one thing we did just learn is that the sheriff said that Amber Waterman was the woman pretending to be Lucy, which we had heard from Ashley Bush's fiance, Josh Willis, that was the woman she was in the truck with on Monday, the last time that Ashley was seen alive, and they took off from that handy stop in Maysville.
And they also said that the manner of death, at least for Ashley, was gunshot. Now, they did not say how the unborn baby died, but they did say that the bodies of both were found separately in separate locations. So
let's go back to that press conference now. It appears we have that video working again for you.
Initial reports fairly quickly. Formal reports will come later.
Can you guys confirm any of that they met on social media and a job interview or so? Is there anything that you guys can confirm about the fiance story?
Yeah, so basically what I know now, based on the information that we know now, I think that is accurate, that it was a meeting online and that it was a job interview that Ashley believed that she was going to. I can confirm that's what the evidence tells us now. Now what's important to remember is that this is still early, right? We have an obligation to tell the public what we know at this point so they can know that you know, we have unfortunately found them and they were murdered. Based on the evidence we know now, but it is ongoing, and so facts can change, or our understanding of what the facts are can change based on the investigation. But as I stand here now, I believe that's accurate, that she did believe that she was going to meet someone for help with a job interview.
And has there been what happened? Because I know she was dropped off for the interview in the morning, and she was seen in the afternoon. Any evidence of what might have happened in between those hours?
I don't know.
We're still sorting through that. We have a lot of facts and information, so it will take us a little while to figure out exactly what happened and where.
And I should also point out too, saying that people have been arrested for a crime, I also have to point out that they are innocent until proven guilty. So an arrest is not proof of guilt. That will be weighed out in a court of law.
Do you know if there was a struggle?
I don't.
What would you like to tell people who, like this could happen to anyone?
Yeah.
And you can trust people, but at the end of the day, things happen.
Like what Nathan was saying, there's evil in our world, and this is a safe place to live, but that doesn't mean evil can't happen here. You should always be vigilant and make sure that you're taking care of your loved ones and yourself, and meeting strangers that you've met online at any aspect is dangerous in itself when you don't know who they are. So we just advise people to be very cautious on people you don't know, regardless of what you're meeting them for.
We appreciate everybody coming out. I know that there's a lot of questions that everybody has, and hopefully there'll be more information to share in the near future. But feel free to ask questions at a later date. If we do get more information that we can share, certainly we will. But thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
All right, again, that's the news conference wrapping up with Sheriff Holloway and Nathan Smith, prosecutor of Benton County. Let's just reiterate again, Ashley Bush and her child have been found dead. There were two people arrested, Amber Waterman and Jamie Waterman. They were arrested in Missouri. Ashley Bush was found in Missouri along with her unborn baby separately in another place in McDonald County, Missouri.
Yeah, this is just right across the Arkansas border in southwest Missouri there, which is where we were told yesterday they were focusing their search. Again, Jamie Waterman, Amber Waterman, both arrested. We know that Amber Waterman was the woman pretending to be Lucy online, according to law enforcement today, and that is the relationship that got Ashley Bush into that truck on Monday, the last time she was seen alive by her fiance headed to a job interview.
Yeah, you heard both say that they are still, and one of the biggest questions is what was the relationship between the Watermans and Ashley Bush, and that's what the investigators are still trying to figure out, other than meeting online for a fictitious job interview, or at least a trip to a job interview that was first reported on Monday. That part of the investigation is still unclear, and that's what they will be working on for the next several days.
A lot of unanswered questions as well, including those potential extra charges. Right now, both of them are being held on kidnapping charges, federal kidnapping charges in Missouri. But again, as the investigation continues, prosecuting attorney Nathan Smith in Benton County told us that there could potentially be more charges leading to murder. But again, which jurisdiction those are filed in remains to be seen.
And that will take a few days to get sorted out as well, too. You heard Nathan Smith say that since this is now a federal case, since it crossed state lines, they've got to determine where the two were killed.
Right.
If it was in Arkansas, then the Watermans could be charged with 2 counts of murder, because in Arkansas, a mom and her unborn child can be charged, if she's killed, can be charged with two counts of murder. Not sure what that law is in Missouri, and if it's shown that they were killed in Missouri, they would have to follow Missouri law unless federal law takes over or federal jurisdiction takes over. So, still, yeah, a lot to be determined in this case. We will, of course, have all the information as best we can on our website at 5newsonline.com. Also tonight at 5 and at 6 and at 10. This is going to be a while before we get this all sorted out.
And of course, our hearts go out to Ashley's family, her fiance Josh, their 3 children. She was a mother of 3, soon to be 4, and had that one child with Josh that we saw on camera just a couple of days ago, missing her mother.
Yeah, and
so
he
this is a tough time for their family.
He has been very forthcoming with all of us about what took place. I'm not sure if we'll hear from him now for the next couple of days, but yes, well, thoughts and prayers go out to all the family members on this. All right, we just